What is up, guys? Hope we're doing well. I'm about to go off for a cheeky deadlift session, but I thought before then, as last time I did a video like this, I had the topic after, which was the gym bag. So if you haven't seen that video, go back and see it. So I talked about the gym bag after I had my workout. This time, to mix things up, keep people guessing, we're going to do the topic of conversation now and then do the workout after. Madness. It's my channel, I do whatever I want. Okay, so the topic of conversation today, as you might have read in the title, is not necessarily keeping your off season clean. Like, that is the easiest way to summarize it for people that are just going to be going through the internet and click on it. But the reason why, my advice to a lot of people and people I coach as well, is to keep your foods clean, but the foods that generally digest well with you, sit well with you, don't bloat you out, don't make you hold on to a load of water retention, things that you tolerate well. The reason for that is there's going to be several things in your off season which keep you on a steady track in your off season. First one is going to be digestion. Now, if your digestion is not well in your off season, you're not going to be able to stick to it, but also you're not going to be able to function properly. Like, digestion is such a key thing which a lot of people overlook. So digestion is key. If something is not digesting well with you, take it out. Don't just try and, oh well, maybe I just was bloated a little bit, or just use a different carb source or a different protein source or a different fat source. If it doesn't sit well with you, there's no point in putting yourself through that discomfort all the time. So for me, bagels, like, I eat a bagel and I just feel different. Like, I just don't feel right. And I'm not gluten intolerant, because I can have other things. I can have oats, I can have bread and things like that. But just for some reason, bagels, I don't even know why. But so I've taken bagels out. Another reason is water retention. So a lot of the reason why people kind of cut their off season short, or they don't fully stick to the protocols and gaining weight, is because they start looking a bit shit and they're put off by that. Unfortunately, sometimes in your off season you need to push your body fat up a little bit, and you can't stay shredded all the time. It's just the fact of it. Your body doesn't, it's a tough old process to build muscle. Your body doesn't necessarily want to build muscle, so we have to give it enough energy to be able to do so, and progressive overload as well. So water retention, if you're holding on to a ton of water, you're just going to look shit, and then that you looking shit is going to be, I need to call this off-season short or something, or I need to do a mini cut or do a cut. So that's another reason. The other reason is also food volume. Now, a lot of the time people go into a dieting phase, and they an off season, and at the beginning of their off season, they're so hungry all the time because you've just come out of a cut, you've just come out of contest prep or whatever, and no matter how much food you're getting in, you still have that unsatiated hunger. Now, later on in your off season, this is never a problem, but at the beginning part, maybe the middle, you know, it becomes an issue. And if you're eating lots of these low volume foods, you've just crossed over from your prep where you were on all those diet hack foods and things like that, lots of high volume foods, and you cross over into your off season, you're just going to overeat a lot more, and that's going to cut your off season short again. So 3 pretty big reasons why you should stick to foods which are quote unquote clean, but things that digest well with you as well. Now, for myself, a lot of my carb sources come from rice-based foods. Now, that's not just because they digest well with me, that's also because the fiber content of them is pretty low. Now, in your off season, one of the big things that can really mess up your gut is having too high a fiber. So having too high a fiber just really gives your digestive system so much work to do, and can really go overload and end up with some really bad illnesses, really. There's one guy I competed with a couple of years ago. He's currently going through, he may even have Crohn's disease. So yeah, it's a real issue which people, fiber's good, but too much fiber is not good. Okay, so those are kind of my main points of why you should try and keep foods not just clean, but things that agree well with you in your off season. Because of water retention, so the way you look, because of digestion, so how you're sitting with the food, and because of fiber intake. Okay, those are just my little pointers. You'll also perform well if you've got a lot of inflammation around your joints because of the water retention that you've held on to, or maybe you're slightly intolerant to food. Your body's going to be more inflamed, your joints are going to be more inflamed, everything's going to feel a bit icky, and it's just not going to move well. So yeah, those are my points. One more point which I wanted to say, which I forgot about when I was talking, this is post-workout Simon now, is protein as well. Your protein is going to be a lot more bioavailable if you keep your foods relatively clean, because the majority of clean foods don't have trace proteins. Like it's more, so you'll be able to fit in like chicken, you know, the normal protein sources, rather than having lots of non-bioavailable and, well, not so bioavailable and more trace type proteins. Let's now go and put this to some good use and go and work out.